The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
Tower Pizza and Mexican offers a full menu of pizza, wings, and Mexican favorites. Try the shrimp tacos, fajitas, or a Jeff's special pizza. Extra sauce, pepperoni, sausage, ham, and mushrooms, all on their homemade crust. Tower Pizza and Mexican, 2701 Broadway, Quincy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Joining me today, a very, very important guest, I think, right? So most of you know him as former Quincy Mayor, Mr. Chuck Scholz. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I think we've met before, but not formally. So great to have you here.
I have followed your career.
Yes. Yeah,
and
so
supported various
you
endeavors.
did. So thank you for that, and thank you for joining us today. Today, I get to thank you for something, and you will no doubt be formally thanked as well as the 14th Annual Friends of Catholic Education Award, right? The recipient of that.
Right. It's really for my whole family, and it's pretty humbling because I look down the list, and you know, there's many families that have done every bit as much as the Scholz family. And I see all the previous winners are just people that have really been dedicated to Catholic education in Quincy. But I think the theme is kind of a generational theme. My dad was the first one to get this.
I was going to ask about that, yeah.
So
first recipient ever. Yeah,
you know,
that's outstanding.
We've been around a while in Quincy. My granddaughters, who are involved with Catholic education, are ninth generation Quincyans.
Wow.
So it really comes from my mom and dad and their parents as well, and on back. And I really think that what's special about Quincy is that somehow we're able to largely, for a Catholic, pass on the faith, ingrain those values that get passed into the next generation. And we do that through our educational system. We have excellent Quincy public school education, but with our Catholic elementary schools, we want to instill those values and do some things that understandably can't take place in a public school setting, but are very important to us as Catholics.
Absolutely, and not just in the Catholic education, in the Catholic schools, but you mentioned within your family as well, which I think is part of the reason, and I love that you're so humble, but part of the reason that you're receiving this is because you do such an amazing job of nurturing, the values throughout your family. Well, so it's not just you and your wife, Becky, right?
It's not just our family.
Right.
It's Quincy, and when I took office in May of 1993, and in June I kind of got baptized in the Mississippi River. The Great Flood of '93 just was all-consuming. Yeah. But it was a wonderful thing, the way people came together to help their friends and neighbors. I always tell people when they talk about the sandbagging site, we had these thousands of volunteers making millions of sandbags.
Yep, I was there.
They weren't trying to save their own house.
Yeah.
We live up here on a 100-foot bluff.
Right.
They didn't know who they were helping.
Right.
They just wanted to do the right thing. So that was 93. I think it was about the spring of 1994. We were in the recovery, which was quite a Herculean effort in and of itself. But I got invited to speak down at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale about flood recovery. So about a week after that, I get this letter in the mail. It's actually a card. And there was a clipping from the Mattoon, Illinois newspaper about my speech. And the note said, I saw your name and I recognized it, and I think Quincy did great during the flood. The reason I recognized your name is I taught your father in the 5th grade at St. Francis School, 1935.
Oh my gosh.
Signed Sister Mary Timothy. So I wrote her back, and I said, Sister, thank you. You're a hero of the flood.
Right.
You taught my dad, and he taught me.
Yeah.
And how many other generations, and not just, our parents, but our coaches, our teachers, our scout leaders, all of these folks. And then when the call came, I have a good friend who, he's a retired professor of sociology at Bielefeld University in Germany, and he studies disasters, and he studies the response. And he's told me many times, what occurred here is not what happens everywhere.
Right.
There are many places that chaos and looting ensue and so forth, whereas here everybody just wants to help.
Yeah.
And he's very curious about the various reasons for that. And I'm sure there's many, but I do really believe that ingraining these values of service is very important. The kids in the Catholic schools do service. We all benefit. Those kids that do service always do better.
Right.
So, yeah, it's great to have this opportunity to help. And folks that want to get to the dinner, there's a few tickets left.
I was going to ask. So the dinner is February 3rd?
February 3rd.
At the atrium.
I talked to Sarah Russell today, who leads our effort, and she said, I think we're about 241 and the capacity's 250.
Oh, wow.
So I got to get on the phone and tell some of my friends to
Yeah.
hurry up and get a seat. So it'll be a beautiful dinner down at the atrium, yeah. And it's just a way we can all reaffirm that the only way these things happen is volunteer effort and contributions. That's what, in Catholic education, we run on that, and that's a good thing to have that opportunity.
Right.
I know it's going to be a very nice evening and certainly very special for my family.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned the involvement, of course. Your involvement has been immense throughout the community, but also Catholic schools, of course. But just through being a room parent or room grandparent, right?
Oh, yeah.
Through just fundraising support, through just being involved in the students' lives, and also I do want to mention your kids, because Charles and Jamie, I know they're very active as well.
Jamie's on the school board.
I know, yeah.
Charles is coach. My son Jake is on the board for the Catholic elementary
And
schools.
Becca.
And Becca is one of the real catalysts behind our STEM lab, and we have a state-of-the-art
That is
STEM
just
lab at St. Peter's,
outstanding.
and I have to commend this community again. It was such an easy task to raise that money because the hospital and Napa and Gardner Denver, they need STEM.
Right.
They need our young men and women to pursue engineering and math.
Absolutely. And
But you're right. I hit the jackpot.
You
with
did.
Daughters-in-law.
Yes,
oh my God, I
you
got
did.
The two best ever.
And I think you thanked your dad, and I'm sure that they thank you, because it is.
And my mom.
Yes. So it's a long line of. I don't want to just say charitable, because it's so much more than that. It is being engaged and being involved, and you've taught them well, and you were taught well, and I think that's how it continues. So grateful for you for doing that, as well as I'm sure the Catholic education community is as well. But you mentioned the STEM lab. That has a great significance in the Scholz family, correct?
Because of my grandson,
Right.
who was only with us for 5 days, but all of the healthcare professionals were just extraordinary, along with Father Leo at our St. Peter's community. So, yeah, we wanted to do something to sort of honor those folks that helped us. In this STEM lab, kids would rather go to STEM than go to recess.
Oh, yeah.
You don't sit in a desk and face the teacher. It's all a team effort on problem solving, and they've got the 3D printers and robots
Right.
and all kinds of stuff that kids would, they play with it, but they're using their imagination, and
They're learning.
They're learning. They're
Yes.
thinking. They're doing teamwork. They're
Yeah.
doing problem solving. So, if you want to make a difference in this world, and kind of leave things hopefully better than we found them, education. That's the key.
Right.
And certainly that's what my parents instilled in all 7 of us kids. That, God knows, I don't know if they thought they were buying into that many
Right,
postgraduate degrees. It took a long time.
I'm sure.
Rich Neiman told me one time the biggest raise he ever got in his life was when he finally had his last child graduate from college. And their previous award winners, and I think of people on that list, Dan and Pam Sherman. My mom and dad kind of started the parochial music organization, and all 7 of us little Scholz kids always played in a band. I was the one that the talent just passed me over.
Oh, you and me both, yeah.
My sisters sing like angels. They all play the piano and another instrument. My brother has been in the symphony, park bands, cantor at church. It has been passed on, though. This morning at the Children's Mass at St. Peter's, I got to see my 13-year-old granddaughter as cantor, led the singing in front of all 500 fellow students, and then the rest of us.
Oh my
parents
gosh,
that are
how
there.
proud you must have been.
Oh my
I can't
God,
even imagine.
She sings like an angel,
Yeah.
and then she can hit the golf ball 230 right down the middle. So what can I say?
There you go.
And I got 5 more just like her.
Best of both worlds, best of all worlds, and it probably has a lot to do with the way that, like we were talking, that the funneling of the values and exposing them to this, and of course the STEM. I mean, I think that is just so important. It's just
We're
it's the
training
way of the
kids
world.
that are going to be alive in the
Yes,
next century.
yes.
In the
It-
22nd.
Paving
So
the way
you can't
correctly.
teach them the way we used to.
Right. Yes, that's what I was going to say. Things are changing so fast, and I think STEM is the one of the best ways to try and keep up with all of the advances in every area in that curriculum. I just think it's amazing. So thank you and your family for being a part of that.
It's been very rewarding.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt that you 100% deserve this award. I know that you are humbly accepting it, but I will say,
on behalf of not
yes,
just my family, all these families
yes,
that I know of that have volunteered their time over the years,
yeah,
and made the contributions. That we have a great system in place today, exciting future ahead,
yeah,
and we're going to meet those challenges.
I love it. I love it. Well, keep up the strong work and pass on the kudos to your family and the community members that have helped you along the way.
I will do that.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have
Thanks for
fun
having
February
me on
3rd.
here.
Of course. It was so nice to meet you and so nice talking with you.
Okay.
All right. All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chuck Scholz. Coming up next, Meg Duncan and I, another VIP, to talk about what's happening in Hannibal.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan-favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
And welcome back. As I promised, another VIP, Miss Meg Duncan. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm really good. I'm trying to think of something else VIP could mean. Like
Very important person. That's it.
I can't think of anything that starts with an I.
No, you're good. Very important
confused person.
No, you're good. You, of course, you always have cool stuff to talk about in Hannibal, which is today is no different. But we want to start out by talking about something scary that happened to your husband, because I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of been all over the place in a way.
it has.
Yeah.
So it was on. So you tell it.
So, so my husband works at Continental Cement and worked day shift on the day that the ice was just so severe, which would have been Monday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And so, of course, Sean leaves at 4:45 in the morning. His shift starts at 6, but it's a little bit to get there. But even then, he just has always been like a get to work early kind of guy. And he's also not tech savvy, so checking weather reports is it's not his cup of tea.
Yeah.
And he's always just been a weather driver. He's a country boy.
Sure.
So he's
going to get there no matter what.
Yeah, that's just how he is.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he actually ran into, he was turning a corner on Highway 79, which if anyone knows 79, it's there's a lot of twists and curves and things like that.
Gotcha.
And he was we live in the country, of course, and 79 is part of his route to get to work. And so he put on his brakes slowly, but when he saw a snowplow in the road, but it was so icy that he ended up spinning toward the passenger side and went straight into that snowplow, which the snowplow didn't even come in that great either. Really? So it has he hit the bed of it, and it's bent. So, but his Hummer just looks like a nightmare.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw the pictures, but let's go ahead and say he is okay.
He is okay.
Thank God.
Yes,
right?
praise God. He's fine, and everyone else is fine.
Good.
Everyone involved and I mean, they all had sturdy vehicles, so, and otherwise I really don't know that they would have been.
Right.
So I'm really
Scary.
grateful. Yeah, so grateful.
Yeah, but But more than that, so then of course you said it's been seen everywhere. I know you saw it. Where you saw it?
So someone took a video, and I'm not mad about this at all, because anyone would do this. Someone took a video because it was him and like 3 other cars that came along later. Like I think there was one other car when he was there, and that's why he ended up having to leave his car, because the police couldn't actually respond except to injuries.
Sure.
And that makes perfect
because of the road
sense.
conditions and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They were just trying to do their jobs,
right.
and it was rough for them. So he really actually got way farther to work than he would have to home. So he got out and he left and walked. But in the meantime,
to work.
Yeah, he walked. Now this
helped. Yeah.
So
okay.
shout out Ricky Copeland for picking up my husband. Anyway, he so his Hummer was sitting there, and back window all smashed out and everything. And someone took a video who was also later stuck. And
oh my
so
gosh.
he took a video. Like I said, that does not upset me, because that's normal. I mean, we're all gonna do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm stuck here, and look, all these cars are too.
Sure.
And I'm not mad about this, because we're the news too. KHQ, I picked it up.
Sure.
I'm not complaining, because that's just, I get it.
It's the way of the world.
Right. It's just people commenting. And
so I'm glad you said that, because I looked at some of the comments, and you made a Facebook post about this
I did.
as well. And thank you for doing that, because I think you said what a lot of people think. For some reason, news comments, like comments on news stations and comments on I don't know. They seem to be just ruthless.
They do.
Just ruthless.
They truly
man.
believe it. Seems like they either don't care if people associated and who are just thankful to God that their loved one is okay.
Sure.
It's like they either don't think that they'll ever see it, or they just don't care because they're keyboard warriors.
Right. Yeah. Or they're just bored, which I think a lot of it is boredom.
I do
and
too.
They're like, you know what? I'm just going to get on here and argue because I like to stir the pot, and that's just how it is.
Right.
Well, let me go ahead and say, I'm so thankful that your husband's okay. And,
Thank you.
you got to be careful. I think everybody feels like we can drive on these roads because we're kind of used to it, which, it doesn't surprise me that he would, because my husband would do the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, it can be very, very scary. So
yes,
and it's that's why it's called an accident, right? So it's
yeah,
not on purpose.
And we're definitely not condoning that people just go out willy nilly on the highway, on the roads.
People are going to do what they
put themselves in danger, of course. But yeah, I mean, people do have to.
Well, Andy wanted to get to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen. Right?
Yeah.
So, we're glad he's okay.
So here's a little disclosure. Please think before you comment.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Just think before you comment.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you see a lot of people say, well, what if this were your loved one? And then I think it kind of gets people to think, but by then they're too far into backtrack. So they just keep defending their crappy
defending their position.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But,
exactly.
So you said that you are not, normally you do like a Facebook post and then you kind of delete it. Don't delete this one.
I'm not going to delete it.
You're speaking for many, many people, I think. So
I'm very well known for posting something and then and it'll be kind of an opinion or something like that. And then I'll get a message. I tried to comment on your post. Where's your post?
Yeah.
I took it down.
Yeah, because you mentioned
trying to get better about that.
Yeah, you mentioned when we first started that you're not real good about offering your opinion and sticking behind it. But I'll say, everybody has one. You might as well share it. Everybody else is sharing it, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so the next topic we're going to talk about, everyone has an opinion, I'm sure.
It is true. Absolutely.
So what we discuss here is, some of it's fact, some of it's opinion.
Yeah.
And everybody is allowed for now to have their own opinion.
Absolutely.
And the way of
so grateful for that.
Right?
Yes.
That's America for you.
Absolutely.
So freedom of speech. So here we go. Riley Gaines. She is visiting Hannibal, HLGU, right?
Yes, yeah.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
I don't care what side of the fence you're on. That is so cool to have. I mean, she is outstanding young woman.
She is. She's amazing. She is everywhere. She's speaking out for women. And she is really telling it like it is, in my opinion. There we go. There's my opinion.
Yeah, there you go. Nice work. So Riley Gaines is, she's a swimmer, right?
Okay. Yeah, so she's actually known as the 10th fastest swimmer ever. I just read that.
Oh my gosh, I can't even dog paddle for more than 2 minutes.
I know.
Kudos to her. But also, so swimming should be her claim to fame because she's so amazing, which of course it is.
It is,
But perhaps even a larger claim to fame is the fact that she is defending Title IX and women's rights in sports everywhere.
Exactly. Yes.
Which, again, your opinion, you can have one. I think it's very important that she's defending this.
I do too. Yeah.
I think it's, it's her right to speak out, and she does so very eloquently.
She does. She does it with grace, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, she really does it with grace. And she's talking about what she personally went through.
Right.
I mean, for those who don't know her background, she was racing in the 200 freelance finalists with the NCAA, and she raced Leah Thomas, who is, I believe, the first transgender woman to be part of women's sports, or maybe just part of
something
swimming.
like that. Yeah.
So she actually tied for 5th place, and Riley said that they tied. 100% tied, and that she was actually told that the trophy had to go to Leah. And she said, and I listened to her on video talking about the fact, that they really weren't allowed to talk about the fact that Leah is a 6 foot, over 6 foot, has male genitalia, and had to
in
be
a wingspan to go with it.
Exactly, and had to race. And then actually a big part of that too was they had to be in the same locker room.
Yeah,
and that was forced on them. And I just can't
get behind it.
I can't
either.
Not ever.
Also, not to take away from this situation, because Riley is coming to Hannibal to speak. I mean, she uses this as a platform to get her opinion, but not not just opinion, but it's kind of like rights of Title IX, right?
She's actually speaking out about legislation, which is so great. Like the Title IX protects women in sports, and that is what it was meant for, and it just celebrated 50 years of protecting women in sports. And she said, this is just, she kind of went back to the old saying of the war on women, and she said, this is a war on women. And she said, it's ironic after 50 years of celebrating this, that all of a sudden
we're coming back to square one.
Absolutely, because she said, there's no real science or anything behind the changes that they're trying to make to Title IX, which are just the fact that, people who identify as a woman that are a man, that they get to participate and go against women.
Yeah, I wonder how they feel about, I always think about this, like UFC or MMA or even boxing. We spent so long saying that it's not okay for men to hit women and domestic violence, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, well, but you're going to let this happen. It just doesn't make sense.
I know. I've thought that same thing.
And I feel like it's almost just... okay, I know we have trans people in the community, and I'm not downplaying their right to be who they are, but we don't have to all agree with it, nor do we all have to get on board with some of these things that seem to just go against everything we've worked so hard for, all in the name of virtue signaling or trying to be on board with. We can't be on board with everything, because then then it all loses importance.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, how can we can't say in one place that we're going to support, women, and then turn around and say that we're not, but not here.
Right.
Not in this situation.
Right.
Because truly, I mean, there's the who you identify with, but there's the science behind it of what their bodies are. Right. And, and a lot of, I think that there's some legislation out there saying too, okay, well, if they're taking the things that make them more like women, and I'm like, well, how does that really differ from us disagreeing with steroids? Yeah, I've read that today, that there's some bills that are like, well, as long as they have to prove that they're taking it doesn't
shrink Leah's wingspan, or what I mean? Come on, let's get real. So also, I think it's just, it's just one more thing that we have to butt heads against.
I know, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to swallow, because it feels like the same people who are sitting and saying women's rights and have said that they're so for it are now just like, anybody's rights. Right. And I'm not saying that everyone doesn't have rights. Of course, everyone has rights. Right. But at what point does one rights overstep?
Right. So we're talking about opinions here. Here's my opinion. Number one, trans community, go forth and be awesome. Number two, corporations should not endorse nor support any athlete, period. I think that should be,
That's
something
true.
totally different, especially not until this is all situated. Opinion number three, I feel like there should be a third division, right? Men's, women's, trans. And then you can compete.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And then you're
Against-
choosing that.
Right.
That at that point, you're choosing. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't think that it's, who knows, maybe it's men who couldn't hack it in, swimming, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna go in this trans and win, which I think is crap.
Yeah,
but who knows?
it is.
Either way, okay. So back
Yes,
to Riley and her visit.
Yes, so Riley is coming at HLGU, and it's next Wednesday. That's January 31st, and it's going to start at 6 o'clock. And
PM.
anybody, 6 p.m. Anybody can come listen. People who agree, people who disagree, never hurts. I mean, it never hurts if you disagree with her, to respectfully come and hear what she has to say. But it also, I'm sure that there'll be a lot of supporters there for her, I think. So,
I imagine.
yeah.
Especially in this area.
Yeah,
I think,
She's really been all over the place. I mean, she has really fought hard. So we'll see.
Good for her.
Yeah.
You know, if nothing else, like you said, respectfully, come and listen, maybe be a little more, maybe get a little more informed.
Yeah.
But, if nothing else, just be grateful that we all have the right to freedom of speech. And
That is how I feel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And coming together in support or to learn more. So this is, you mentioned anybody's welcome. It's free.
It is. Now, you do need to go to the website.
there you go.
Because it is free, but you do need a ticket.
Gotcha.
And I think that's just because of capacity of the room. So I would say definitely, if you want to go to the website, get your tickets and everything. And there's still, just a little under a week. So there's still time. And I think that everybody who wants to go will be able to attend.
Yeah.
So
Excellent.
I'm excited to go.
That's awesome.
And hear what it has to say. And like you said, it's just great that we can, because the truth is, if it's someone I disagree with, I would support their right to go as well.
Sure.
I would still go.
Yeah.
And I would still report on that.
Right.
And I would report on that fairly, and I would report on that truthfully.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we all do that we all go and say, hey, what's the other side got to say?
Sure.
I think that's such a big deal.
It is.
And thank God that we can still do that. So let's exercise it.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, Meg, you can spit your opinion and do it well.
Yeah.
You did great.
I didn't cry.
Yeah. No, she's great. So, but it is something that is it's a hot button topic.
It is.
So not only is it cool that she's coming here, I think that's it's going to be profound to hear what she has to say.
Yes.
And also to support her right to have a
Absolutely.
platform and hear what she has to
Absolutely.
say. So,
And
very cool.
Muddy River News will be there. So
Yay.
look for our story.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Meg. Well, thank you so much as always. It is
Thank
so awesome
you.
talking to
Always
you.
awesome
and
to talk to
Yeah,
you.
see you next week.
Okay,
All right,
bye.
tell Sean to be safe, okay?
I will do that.
And you be safe too.
Yes.
All
me
right.
too.
Okay. All
You
right.
too.
I think that does for today's Daily Muddy. We'll catch you back here tomorrow. Club Muddy. See you then.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.